Hi, hello there, and welcome to this week's live stream with Digital Spy. I'm Reynolds, the site's gaming editor, and I'm joined this week not by Ben,
Not by Ben.
but by Tom Mansell. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Hi, Tom. You are our production manager?
My job title is irrelevant in this situation, I believe.
It is.
And also in much of my life, so...
Okay, but are you a Lord of the Fallen?
We'll find out.
We will find out. Yeah, this is this week's game that we're playing. We usually live stream on a Wednesday, but this time we're doing it on a Tuesday instead, a day early, which is good because it means the embargo this game lifted today. It's out today, so why not play it today?
Excellent.
Yeah, and
Great news.
I assume we're playing as this moody guy with his shoulders slowly moving up and down.
And a tattooed face. You
Yeah.
know, nothing says hard man like tattooed face.
Absolutely. So I think we're just going to start a new game and go from there. Pick a save file, Tom.
Oh, I'm feeling a bit saucy, so number 3.
Number 3. And I think that's a good choice, actually.
3, it's the magic number, if you believe De La Soul.
Which I don't. Okay, so can I select a magic? Okay, I think we scroll through left and right. I played this in a preview, so I have a vague idea of what this all means. But I don't think we're going to get too far into it in the first hour, so it doesn't really matter. Brawling sounds good.
Brawling, I mean, this is a hack and slash game, is it not? Is that basically the...
Yeah, kind of. It's very much. It's a lot of people reference Dark Souls, and I've played it a few times, and those references are correct.
Right, so I mean, brawling sounds like a pretty good tack then, you know,
Yeah.
in that sense, if we're going to be beating stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go with that. Let's go for Warrior.
He looks pretty mean.
Yeah, I mean, like these guys just don't look well. Well, he looks well.
And that guy looks pretty cool actually with his hammer. He's a bit like the little dwarf from Golden Axe. Or was that right? Am I perhaps confusing games in my mind?
No, I think that's right. Let's go for that. Harkin. Yeah.
Let's do it. Why not?
Great. Yeah. Yeah. So do you know much about this game, Tom?
I don't, and I don't know much about it. I read a little bit about it 10 minutes ago. Unfortunately, as I was saying, we were expecting to do Sunset Overdrive, but so I prepared all my, myself for that. But instead,
well, if you could tell us a bit about Sunset Overdrive, that'd be great.
Well, I've heard it's all right.
This game is also all right.
It's all right. One thing I read about this game was a few kind of, like a brief review synopsises. Synopsi? I don't know.
Yeah.
That said, it's kind of derivative, but that's kind of okay. It kind of does a good job, nevertheless.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, I played it a couple of times before release, and it's very much like it's striking how similar to Dark Souls it is in terms of like how it controls. Like there's kind of like a fairly similar feel to the movement, to the way you attack. Controls are kind of different, like you can just lock onto players, you can sort of raise a shield with one of the trigger buttons and attack with the other one. Yeah, it's very much like in that sense, the way it controls and feels, and also down to like the overriding systems as well, like there's experience systems where if you die you have to kind of come back later and get your experience back to that point. A lot of things like that. That make it kind of very similar to Dark Souls, but it's not really. I think our review kind of explained it well, saying like it's very much inspired by Dark Souls and it sort of plays kind of similar. But probably a good reason why there hasn't been many games like Dark Souls is because it's actually quite hard to pull off, and this is an example of why.
Right. I mean, but then again, if its touchstone is Dark Souls, and they definitely got the right man in you, because you are very much a fan of Dark Souls, are you not?
Yeah, I love Dark Souls. Obviously, it's not going to attack us right now. So you wouldn't have this in Dark Souls. You wouldn't have any kind of tutorial. So that's good.
They just don't. Well, Dark Souls, it's like, there you go. You're in the water, start swimming.
Yeah. Basically, there's a in Dark Souls. So again. Evasion. Yes, it's a heavy strike on R2. R1 is like a regular strike. So yeah, in Dark Souls you'd only use that when you're very confident that the enemy's kind of window is open. So
I mean, I've never played Dark Souls, but one thing that I've heard about it is that it's hard.
Yeah,
is this game equally hard, or is this perhaps a bit softer?
I think it starts out a bit gentler. So, for example, as a tutorial in Dark Souls, yeah, very much like in Dark Souls. I think Demon Souls was probably actually a little bit more gentler, but Dark Souls very much in the first like 10 minutes you're facing this screen thing and boss, and you have to like kill it. So in a way, it like kind of just introduces you in the best way possible. I think it's like, well, either you're going to enjoy this game and the challenge it has to offer, or you're not. There's no conversation trees in Dark Souls. This is definitely new.
Do these significant? These conversation trees, do they greatly affect and influence the game, or?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think generally this game is quite linear, which Dark Souls isn't. Dark Souls is kind of like, it plays out like a bit of like a spider web, so there is kind of advised ways to go, but you can kind of branch off earlier or later, depending on where you need to go. And a trophy.
They are spreading towards our village.
But I believe in this, you can kind of, once you get to a certain point in the game, you can then come back via these portals and find sort of secret content earlier in the game.
Whatever happens, Antanas can.
It's locked.
Yeah, how do we open the door?
Damn it. There must be some way to open this door. A switch, perhaps. Or a key.
Oh yeah, I assume we just have to chat to this dude until he gives up the goods.
It's not as bad as it looks. You're no use to me if you bleed to death. I will try.
Yeah, from what I've read, this game, from what I've played as well, this game is kind of a bit gentler than Dark Souls. It's a bit less forgiving. I think in the Souls games, there are more surprises, and when you turn a corner and there's an enemy there, you could be like maybe 30 minutes into a dungeon, and then he will kill you if you're just not prepared right.
And then you're back to the beginning of that dungeon.
Yeah, but obviously, I think up to that point, you usually kind of the game teaches you pretty well how you maybe should have approached that situation, so you can always be prepared for whatever faces you. But for this, it's like, well, if you get attacked, you have maybe a few seconds to recover. You can jump back, you can keep going. It's not really as harsh in that regard, which is good because I don't think that approach is for everyone. Which is why I think the Souls games have been incredibly popular in the last few years. They're not for all.
Yeah.
So maybe this is kind of like an approach for some people who like those sorts of games, who kind of got on with them, but not quite, gelled with the difficulty side of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's fair to say games generally aren't that hard, really, these days compared to, how they some in the past. So perhaps a hard game is something that is still quite surprising and shocking to people sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Dark Souls is actually that hard. It's just like it's kind of like there's very much old school mentality in that you're meant to really kind of like learn how it all plays and how it all works. And kind of like just learn kind of the language of the world and how you're meant to approach the game. And I think with Dark Souls, one of its great strengths is also its world. Like there's a great story being told everywhere around you and in the item descriptions and stuff. And I believe Lords of the Fallen doesn't quite have that sort of attention to detail. It's a bit more, as we've seen, the story stuff is a bit more direct. There's story choices, sort of dialogue choices. There's sort of voiceovers. Yeah, I'm killing these guys fairly easily. I don't know if it's because my hammer is absolutely huge.
Well, they were, but it's not the size of your hammer, it's what you do with it.
Exactly.
And he's doing a good job of dispatching these whatever they are, zombie kind of creature things.
Yeah, I don't know what these guys are.
They look something like something out of Resident Evil, but with axes.
I think what makes Dark Souls combat particularly kind of difficult at first is the stamina bar. And a lot of action games have this, but I think it's very important in these sorts of games. So let's just grab this. So you see bottom left, like the little yellow bar with your health. Like, so if you use your swing, it goes down quite a bit. So you can maybe do like 2 swings for your attack.
Before you got to take a bit of a breather.
Yeah. So with games with combat like this, you really have to kind of decide, right, this is when I should attack. Because if you...
Decisive moment, yeah.
Like
that.
Yeah, there you go. If you get it just wrong, then they'll have their window to attack, and it could be curtains for you.
It takes out the sort of button bashing element of a game like this.
Yeah, but I'd say to begin with, like, this is actually fairly generous in terms of its difficulty. I'm being quite clumsy, so I'll let him attack first.
I mean, I think it looks great.
Yeah, it's a very pretty game. I think it's only next gen and PC.
So it's just on PlayStation 4 and Xbox 360. Xbox One, sorry, and PC, not
Yeah.
on the old gen.
Yeah, which is actually a bit of a rarity. Even though those consoles have been out for a year, a lot of games are coming out on everything still, which is kind of understandable. Not everyone has new consoles, and from a business perspective, that's pretty tough thing to do.
I suppose, you know, historically that's kind of been the way it's often gone as well, isn't it? Especially like franchise games and that sort of thing. When a new console launches, they still support the old one for a good while yet.
Yeah.
But you know, this console generation, I mean, this game does look great, but it's not like I'm like thinking. Or maybe it's just that I'm not comparing it directly, but it's not like I'm thinking back to PlayStation 3 and thinking, oh my god, this is amazing. It's obviously better, but you know, there's not been that same sort of shift in graphical power that, you know, perhaps we saw in old console generations. I mean, do you think that's just, you know, because we're at the beginning of it, or is it because like we're at the tip of the iceberg of what these new ones can do? Or
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think it's going to be diminishing returns. I mean, like you look at kind of the jumps between, say, like PlayStation 2, and they could like have real meaningful, even PS3 to PS3, like resolution increases are a big part of it.
But there's only so much more real something can look before it looks real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is very much like, well, even though developers have been actually quite good at kind of pushing or getting a lot out of these consoles already, they very much are still difficult to develop for. Like, you know, Sony and Microsoft are there. Like, I'm not sure how kind of, you know, the specific terms, but like their libraries and how they can approach assets and kind of actually make games on those systems are still kind of like being, you know, finalised really, or they're there but they're not being perfected. So as time goes on, like, you know, more RAM, more processor. Oh, and I died. Yeah, so that was more of a typical Dark Souls-esque style battle, I suppose.
Without the "you died" coming up at the end.
Yeah, without "thanks Obama" coming up on the screen, which that's what I liked about the PC version. You can install mods, and that was one of them. So let's try that again. So yeah, it says top right. Get back to the place where you die, and you get your experience back. And on the bottom left, you get like that's how much experience, like, and it ticks down. So I think if I wait a little while, it would go down to like 99, etc. Now this guy's my weapon been diminished or something.
He was quite accommodating though in terms of his willingness to be pummeled.
Yeah, which I always appreciate. Physical damage -1. I'm not sure. I like this radial system for equipping stuff. I think Dark Souls generally is kind of a bit confusing at times and a bit clunky, whereas this actually seems very like you just point it over there, you know what you want. I think my weapon is fine. I probably just didn't attack directly enough. Let's keep going. Oh.
Oof. But menu screens are kind of one area of games that haven't really necessarily jumped on a million miles over the years, are they? There's still sort of a slightly sort of clunkiness to them sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough thing to get right. Have you, we're talking about sort of next-gen consoles and, you know, really a year in, have you bought either Xbox One or PS4 yet?
Not yet, no, I haven't. I mean, I have been meaning to get a PlayStation 4 for like quite a long time now, but unfortunately just never quite get onto it. I think Destiny was going to be the point where I did it, but then when a lot of the reviews came back on that and I had a go myself, and it perhaps didn't feel as vital as some of the promotion made it sound.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't, you know, the new Halo or whatever. Not that they were saying it was, but you know, from the same studio and all that. But you know, I'm sure I'll give it a go once I do get around to getting a PlayStation 4. But I guess I'll just have to wait for now.
Yeah, there are a few like must-have games. I think like if you're into like playing the yearly franchises like FIFA, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, then it's definitely worth doing it just because, well, these are the better versions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Already, I think a lot of them are kind of streets ahead, but it's difficult to sell. I mean, these consoles, even though they debuted fairly cheap compared to what they have done traditionally, they're not cheap consoles by any means.
No, they're still a few £100, which is, you know, still a lot of money to, you know, most people. So
yeah, I'm determined to take this guy out before we continue.
He's quite a badass, you know, in his look, but I'm assuming as we are quite early on the game, he shouldn't be too much hassle in a long-term sense.
So yeah, so dodge that, attack, back away. One thing I think our review said it. Yeah, just to clarify, I didn't review the game. It was Ian Drunsfield, one of our freelancers. Yeah, he said like even though it has kind of like the similar beats to Dark Souls and games of that ilk, they kind of it's not quite as smooth and I don't know fluid as kind of those sorts of games where very much if you die it feels like very much it's your fault. Whereas in this, like occasionally it can feel like, well, did that actually turn out the way it probably should have done? And if you're going to make a game that's difficult and a bit, I don't know, about kind of staggered combat and kind of being sort of generous with your attacks and things like that, you have to make it kind of just right. And this game apparently doesn't quite do that.
What score did we give it in the end?
Give it a 3 out of 5.
So solid.
Yeah, a good score. And I think, I think it's very much like if you like this sort of game, you'll want to play it, and I think I will play this because, as you said earlier, I'm a big Dark Souls fan. So I've got the key, and now I can progress. That's good. So I had to kill that guy, which is kind of like a tutorial of sorts. It's like kill this really tough dude.
And then you get your reward.
And you shall pass. Do you want to watch this, or should we just skip through it?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm quite happy to take in some of these cutscenes.
Yeah, let's just sit and relax and enjoy this.
Oh, is this the guy that just spoke to us and now he wants to?
I'm not sure. Mr. Evil Demon Man. Okay.
This guy looks pretty serious.
Yeah.
He's for a early game boss here. But First Warden is an ominous name if ever I heard one.
Actually, I think I'm pretty sure I did fight this game in one of my previews, and one of the complaints I had was that bosses just took forever to take damage. Like you'd learn their attacks like reasonably quickly.
And just pummel basically after that, just grind away.
Yeah, like I've done 3 hits and I'm already a quarter off his health. Sorry. Whereas I think in the preview stage, when obviously they're still balancing the game, like a tiny fraction would have taken off. So you'd spend like half an hour, and their attacks would change as the fight goes on, and you get to towards the end, something surprising would come at you, you die. It's like, well, so it looks like they've addressed those concerns, which is good.
Well, that was definitely one of the things I disliked when we played the preview of Destiny as well. The fact that these bosses, fairly early game bosses, just took forever just to grind them down.
Yeah.
With no particular necessary skill or anything, just kind of basically figuring out a fairly simple strategy and just sticking to it for a really long time.
I think also the encroachment of role-playing game sort of elements in games like this also means that skill becomes less important, and it's about having the right equipment. Which can be really jarring. It's understandable that you want sort of if you have the right elemental equipment or you the right level, that you want to perform better. But if you're really good at a game, it almost feels just a bit weird. Like I'm actually doing everything right, and yet I'm doing a fraction of health each time.
Yeah.
And I think Destiny still kind of has that even at the higher levels.
Like you kind of got to have your right kit.
Yeah,
being good's not good enough.
Yeah, and I think I played. Because I'm still playing Destiny, and I really like it. There's weekly strikes, things like that. So there's content that still appears daily and weekly. And even if you're 2 levels under, and there's not a sort of great deal of levels, then you won't make much damage at all.
Right.
Even with a team, you can't really help. So that's kind of frustrating, but also kind of understandable. That's just the way they've approached it.
You just basically. You got to stick. Know your role basically. Know your level.
Yeah, get your equipment right. Kind of level up a bit. There's a bunch of us trying to get for the raid, which is level 26. And I know if I'm not 26 or even higher, then I'm just going to be dead weight basically. But that's kind of but at the same time the whole role-playing element in games like Borderlands and etc. And stuff like this, even like this and Dark Souls, that stuff is also really really attractive. That's what's really interesting, and can make games more interesting and more engaging. So
And it's something that's becoming more of a trend.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the last few years, and it's pros and cons, I suppose, of both systems.
I guess it's the natural kind of progression, of games to kind of move into more kind of storytelling and that sort of thing, compared to just a straight game.
Yeah, I'm very quickly to see the controls. I want to know how to heal. Quick weapons, cycle spells.
So there's a specific command to heal.
Yeah. Okay, so you hold down the button. So I was cycling through them with tapping. So I'm gonna wait till there's an opening. And then I'm gonna quickly heal. Cause not to toot my own horn, but I'm doing okay. Until I get hit like that. Right, there you go. That's better. Yeah, you should play Destiny at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely will. It's just yeah. I mean, we've got some more games kind of. Actually, maybe not. There's some good games coming out for the end of the year. I mean, it's coming up to Christmas, but so I assume there are. But
there's a lot of like familiar faces that everyone kind of forgets about just because they're so regular. So like Assassin's Creed, there's Call of Duty, there's Far Cry's out soon.
Right.
New Dragon Age. There is Smash Bros on Wii U. Little Planet. There's quite a few like biggies that I think are just you can easily forget about. But most of the stuff that was kind of the most interesting, like Evolve, have been delayed into next year, which is kind of unfortunate.
Evolve's been delayed, has it? Oh.
Yeah, but there is a beta. I think we'll be able to stream that maybe next week, which I'm quite excited about.
Why has it just been delayed just because, or
Yeah, I can't remember their reasons, but it's just one of those
not
things.
anything
Like,
specific or anything sort of disastrous?
yeah, it just needs more time.
Yeah, because I've seen it being trailed, but he's ditched the shield.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Like as the boss goes on, new attacks are introduced. And he just loves swinging that thing.
He really does.
He's never been happier.
Oh,
So hopefully that was that
that's
distracting.
interesting.
No, he's not easily distracted. This guy.
He's
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
full. What a sucker.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to back away because my health is fairly low. Don't have time to use this? Yeah. It's always my least favourite part when doing boss battles, whether it's in Dark Souls or actually like really kind of older games that are really difficult. It's like like in like 2 or 3 hits you could take him down, but you could still like majorly
Had to
fuck him
go
up.
back to the start again.
Yeah, so you really just got to be patient. So this boss you probably could do really quick. I'll just take my time.
I mean, in a way. Ooh.
Oh, see. Jeez. Right. Let's heal up again.
I mean, in a way, kind of dying right near the end kind of makes it even better when you actually do get it. So, you could say it enhances the game somehow, but at the same time, rather not do that right now.
You could say that, but it's also incredibly restrained. So this
It's something you probably do without, basically. And there we go.
That was easy, Tom.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, the first boss, I mean, what was that, 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's not too shabby. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, this, even though I've heard this game is kind of like, yeah, it is more approachable a bit, I think, than Dark Souls. You still have to work for that victory, I think. So that's good. I think that's a good, like, beginning to what this game hopefully should be about.
First warden down, see you later.
Yeah, so that's like a...
Well, so I'm guessing by that name, First Warden, there are some more wardens in the offing at some point.
Yeah, probably every boss is just like second warden, third warden. And then they just slip to the sixth warden, and that's like, wow, where did that go? That's a big part of the story. Okay.
So there's quite a lot of writing going on screen here, and I'm not loving the amount of of writing that's coming up here. It's,
Yeah, and it's certainly like on streams we kind of avoid like any story stuff, but I feel this is semi-important. Yeah, I think it's basically saying the more experience on you, the more you gain later. So
Right.
like it's a multiplier. So like if you have a bunch of experience in the bank and you keep fighting, then it's like a multiplier that increases. Or you can like bank it in, and I just spend it now, but you obviously earn less.
So if you keep it, if you use your experience to level up at this point, it's worth less than it is if you save it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could decide to bank it. Yeah. So let's. How do I spend this stuff? Okay, I have 1 spell point to use apparently.
It's always the most sort of nerve-wracking element of any sort of these RPG elements to games. Where like, where do I level up? What do I do first?
Yeah, I find it really. I find it actually quite unfair. There you go. So I spent the spell point. But like at the start, during the start of an RPG, like an epic sort of 80-hour RPG, and you're forced, like you know nothing about the game, and you're forced to like make these really key decisions on what spells you have. I think it's just like a very terrible idea. Just to kind of
that this decision that you've made after half an hour could affect the next next 3 months of your life.
Yeah, and I had that actually with Destiny, even though it doesn't actually matter too much, because I think like everyone can use the same weapons and so on and so forth. There's certain abilities obviously tied to certain classes, and I played maybe like 4 or so hours of one class, and I was like, actually I quite like hand cannons, and hand cannons are better suited to this class. So I started over.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of annoying, like a game you've not even ever played before, and how you're meant to sort of make these decisions. But a lot of RPGs now, they kind of do like the whole, you reset your points. Or there's the option to reset your points later, so you can re-spec your character, which is
right.
always welcome, always good. But yeah, I think actually Dark Souls is actually a game where I just totally spec my character out the wrong way. I think I just put it into an ability or kind of like a trait that was apparently just useless. Like not literally useless, that there was some sort of like tiny little benefit to something. But I remember showing my my character, I don't know if it's called a character sheet or whatever, that's a D&D phrase, but yeah, I was mentioning that to someone, I was like, why have you just pumped all these points into this one spec? I was like, yeah, that's why I'm just terrible right now. I'm just not doing any damage. So yeah, I'm playing Dark Souls 2, and I've kind of that's going a lot smoother just because I know what I'm doing. Oh geez.
Yeah, no, it's quite startling sometimes how much when you first play a game and you make those mistakes, how much easier it can be sometimes if you just actually, rather than put it into that, you put it into something else.
Yeah, and it's difficult because I think RPGs in general, you don't want those. You don't want to like do much research. You want to kind of
you want to kind of experience it properly. I feel like sometimes as well that it's the you get tempted by the sort of the more interesting like abilities and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you think, oh wow, this is a cool. I like the idea of what they're going for here. But then actually, once you start playing your game, you realise, oh actually, I probably should put more in strength and speed and like the kind of core kind of gaming attributes. It's like, oh yeah, intelligence. Yeah, that sounds important. I want my character to be smart. But then it turns out, for most of the game, that's not really as important as the others.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on what sort of game you're playing. Like maybe, like Magic is the best way to just generally play a game. Yeah, I think like, as you play more and more games, you kind of learn what your play styles are. Like I'm playing like through Diablo very slowly. I'm very much a guy who just wants to whack away everything in that. But it's just also kind of like you go for that default skill. It's just a bit default class. Sorry, it's a bit boring. So you have to kind of make a decision on, well, do I want to just play it the way I play it, or play it the way probably the game wants me to play it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's tricky.
I remember when I played Fallout, and I loved the idea of like the charm ability, like the idea that if you're more charming, you can like sort of smile your way out of situations or whatever. But it turns out actually most of the time you just get a few bonus kind of lines of chat that don't really necessarily affect the game that much.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I always like the idea of those things, but they kind of rarely.
Yeah, I guess
I think like Deus Ex had those as well.
I think I quite liked it. I mean, to be honest, I can't actually. I only played it one way, but I mean, I think sometimes you definitely kind of there's the way you like to play games as well.
Yeah.
There's a way that the game wants you to play it, and then there's the way that you like to play games. And so, like, one of the first games that I ever kind of really loved was Metal Gear Solid, and so I love to sort of take a sort of sneaky stealth approach when I'm playing games. And so like when I was playing Deus Ex, that's very much like kind of using those sort of skill sets. But So I never really got to experience it just going through and like going everything down,
Yeah.
which I'm sure had its charm as well.
Yeah, I think Metal Gear was very much a game you have to play it its way.
You had to play sneaky, yeah. You couldn't go around like just blasting everyone.
But yeah, there was like obviously like speed runs. You can see people being very offensive, but also very like doing it in the right way, where it's like I'm not being spotted at all, or they know just how the AI works. I'm outside now, and this looks quite pretty. So it's quite
Nice sort of change of scenery because there's only so much dungeon you can take.
Yeah. Do you want to? Let's keep my XP for a bit. Let's bank it.
Get the benefit later.
What was the game show where you could bank your points?
I don't know. Rings a bell. I'm not quite sure though.
Oh, I completely forgot. It's a type of mind. But this is the video game equivalent of that.
of that game show that we can't actually remember right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure people at home have no idea either what we're talking about. So that was good. That was a fruitful conversation. Something our review actually pointed out is that weapons do actually feel really different, and if you equip something, it's not like it's a slight change. So I was playing with the Persistence Greatsword a minute ago, and it's like a bit quicker, but it didn't do as much damage. So I'd rather take it slower, do more damage, and I'm gonna die in a sec. This is the same guy I fought earlier.
He looks quite similar.
Yeah, and there's me trying to rush through it, trying to get past him.
And you've copped it.
Yeah. Reynolds, you've done it again. Okay.
Alright, so you've collected back the experience that you lost or just dropped or whatever?
Yeah, I lost when I died. I think conveniently you start the level right there, and that's where I died, so
right.
that works out pretty well.
Yeah, certainly worse places to die than that.
Okay, I might just run through this level, which is a valid tactic, I should say, in sort of the Souls games.
Well, I remember watching your Dark Souls playthrough, and valid tactic or not, it did go tits up on that occasion, I do believe.
I think it's because I didn't know the actual area, and in this game I also don't know the area, so I don't know what I'm doing. So this guy looks a bit meaner.
He's running around a lot, that's for certain.
Yeah, it's enjoy just running into walls. There you go.
But a satisfying clank to those hits.
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, again, like our review, I think I'm kind of agreeing with our review. It's very much like it gets all the basics right. It does feel kind of like very satisfying and feels measured. But I think until I've experienced no kind of like cock-ups yet, but if it kind of occasionally just doesn't go quite the way you expect it to, then that can be kind of frustrating. That looks nice.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll be able
quite
to
a vista.
explore down there. There's a guy there just chilling.
Waiting to be pummeled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I find really weird about games like this. Is like, or games in general. There's just enemies like lurking in just really weird places.
Well, I've always loved the idea of like real life being like video games. I remember when I was at college, there were these kids in my town, and I'd only ever see them at the basketball courts in our local park. And I used to imagine that maybe they were like the background characters of a game who only exist within certain territories.
Yeah.
And so if no one was at that no one was at that basketball park, those people just wouldn't exist. they just be a spawn when you arrive there.
Yeah.
Who knows what that guy down there just minding his own business.
Yeah, there he is. Well, just like he's kind of, I don't know.
It's like, what were the hopes and dreams of that guy down there? What does he want to achieve with his, I say life? Is he actually living? Is he undead? Who knows? But what are his aspirations? What does he want out of this? Out of this narrative? We'll never know.
That's a good point. I mean, he looks kind of restless. Maybe he's been there for a while.
Yeah, maybe he just wants to make sure he doesn't want cramp to set in.
Yeah,
keep moving.
He's turning around. He's just surveying the area. Yeah, I imagine he's like probably putting in extra hours. Wanted to get that raise, trying to impress the boss. I'm not sure that's how it works.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Can I talk to this?
Well, I'm sure.
Oh God,
right.
No. I probably should have. Can I enter this? Open.
Oh.
Open. You got this. And you're just attacking that
Is
man.
he, who had existed, you know,
Oh, wow.
fairly comfortably in this world until just moments, you know, before. And now all of a sudden,
Yeah, now he's just getting pummeled.
although, you know, he's a trooper, he can take it.
Yeah, he can take a...
And he is actually
What is
suffering
that?
damage. You know, you can see the numbers kind of popping off of him, but
Yeah. I reckon we'll leave him to it. He's actually providing a valiant service of distracting him while I continue down here.
that guy is clearly some sort of badass.
Yeah.
Oh
So
gosh,
he-
there's some sort. What is that? Like some sort of spider? I don't like looking at that. Oh my, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh
They're,
dear
they're not
Lord.
cute, like they're not Resident Evil style man-sized spiders. These are like dog-sized spiders.
Well, they're big enough. I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you found that in your flat, you wouldn't be best pleased.
If you know, if I found a small spider, I wouldn't be best pleased. A dog-sized one would probably have me move out permanently.
Yeah. I think he's still...
He's still bashing away at that poor old boy.
Yeah. Let's just have a quick look. But obviously not pop around the circle to... around the door to...
What a
to-
bully.
Yeah. That is disgusting.
They're getting carrying away, offering no defence at all.
Yeah.
He's not going to stop.
No. So we'll just leave him to it.
Indefatigable, just in his battering of that old man.
So...
Well, you know, if you're thinking about the hopes and dreams of those people, unfortunately, I think they're locked in that for eternity.
Yeah. Which makes me feel a bit bad now.
Yeah, I don't like it's these that kind of spewing kind of blobs of whatever they are that you keep encountering. They look rather disgusting.
Down here. Is this the sort of game that you'd enjoy? Do you think?
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. I haven't played a great deal of these games. Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that I've played that kind of looks similar.
Did you play like Castlevania?
No, I mean, not really to be honest. I've never really been into the whole sort of the aesthetic of these sort of games, the sort of the old like fantasy world stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it seems rather a banal point, but you know, yeah, for me, I've always been favoured like science fiction style sort of worlds and that sort of stuff in games. So I never really played many of this, these sort of like swords and armour sort of things.
Yeah.
The closest thing I can think of anything that I played in it was like Dynasty Warriors, if you remember that. But it's
yeah.
certainly much kind of a big scale sort of just bash 'em ups, like kind of
Yeah.
with less sort of focus on like I know the sort of exploring a world or taking on individual foes.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's a nice surprise. Oh. Yeah, I mean, look, this is these sorts of games aren't new by any sense. They're actually kind of very old school, I think, in their approach. But yeah, I think that the fact that they've come back in vogue, I think it suggests like maybe games have gotten a bit easier over the last kind of 10 or so years, and that's why people really enjoy them again.
I quite like that little leg sweep move that was just happening there. Quite satisfying, that one.
Yeah, I think that's what's the term I'm thinking of? If you basically go around the back of the character.
And to like do a kind of killing strike.
I think it's just a normal attack, just based on your position, and if you just do it just right, then they all create extra damage. And that's another kind of Dark Souls-esque thing where you want to kind of like use your shield, like move around the back of them. And if you do that, then it's not always the easiest thing to do, and you can get like an extra damage and hit on them. I'm just going to ignore this guy.
The graveyard is swarming with them. I need to alert the others.
You just need to find an old man for him to beat up.
Yeah, maybe that's a key key mechanic in this game. Is just going to find helpless civilians to set.
Helpless but invincible civilians.
Yeah.
Wow, this is that's quite an army he's got there now.
Yeah. That's probably, I don't know what you'd call it, like a crab hand.
It looks, pretty serious, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's a gauntlet.
As if one wasn't enough.
Like multiple fire modes, if I just step back. I think if I press circle, will it use it? I've got to heal. No, taken out.
Ah, that was quite an innocuous way to go.
Yeah. That's quite embarrassing. On the bright side, we get to start this area again and see our old friend. And see how he's doing. See how he's holding up.
Poor old boy down there.
Yeah.
Everything was fine in the world until he met you.
Yeah. When he asked me to open the gate, he said, like, you know, I think the actual term on screen was like whimpering on the subtitles. So he wanted me to be there.
I don't know what he's so scared of. He's, you know, clearly tough.
Yeah. So is he still here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing all right. Let's reach out to him this time.
You help me here, please. What happened to your hand? Spider venom. It ripped the wound and sucked the poison out. Too late. There's only one way to stop the venom. You want me to
He is a madman.
You will see the judges soon then. I can't. It's
You can't go around telling people to do that.
Should we do it?
I reckon do it. Yeah, go on.
all right.
You have got a hammer though. It's not the best way to cut off an arm, is it?
Yeah. It's our friend over there.
Thank you. I owe my life to you, stranger. A gift from the court. A reminder of... Please.
Let's just leave.
Wait. Here. Take...
Give him a potion, get some XP. Should we try and set our friend on him again?
Yeah. Maybe, you know, if he was pathetic before, he's now got one less arm
Yeah.
to defend himself, so this is going to go well.
Has he come through? Okay.
Oh, God, that's quite a beefy hit.
Right in the face. I don't think has he took the bait?
He's less interested in this. He's very much happy to wait it out now.
Yeah. Okay, we'll just leave him to it. Okay, is he following us now?
I don't think he can fit through that door.
No. I don't think, I think he's left him alone. That's fine, maybe that was it, maybe he's attracted to spider venom.
Oof.
Let's head this way now instead of up there, but obviously I'll die easily. One of these guys.
And a spider thing, oh gosh.
Yeah, it's not going well. See, this is what happens when you try and rush. Just getting pummeled by multiple dudes.
Yeah, spiders are...
Oh,
truly
is that our
horrific.
friend? That's our friend, isn't it?
Oh gosh, this is quite a...
A predicament we
quite,
found ourselves
quite a
in.
melee.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, that wasn't going to help me anyway, was it?
You've done a nice little circle here.
Yeah. I want to try and take these guys out. I think it's the right thing to do.
Isolate them one at a time. Yeah, this looks like a good tactic.
Yep, use the scenery as your help. See, I think our friend there is stuck behind that door.
He's big, isn't he? No, these spiders are... Oh.
Yeah, he is a brute. Yeah.
Oh no, hang on.
Oh god, yeah, he can definitely work his way through. Will he attack our friend?
They've tasted your blood now.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore these guys. Yeah, we ought to wrap up actually. We're kind of running out of time. So I'm just gonna run away from this friendly individual. Head down here. Tom, concluding thoughts. What do you think of Lords of the Fallen?
It looks all right. You know, it's not set my pulse racing at any point really here, but it looks like the sort of game. Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, it looks like it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything like massively wrong.
Yes. Yeah, it's so. I think if you like I very much like Dark Souls, so I'm quite enjoying this game. It's not the sort of it's not an easy game to really show off easily. Like these sorts of games are popular on live streams because I think there's a degree of difficulty to them and skill involved to actually play them right.
So people want to watch them so they can see how they can be better at it.
Yeah, unlike
something they're probably not getting from this live stream.
Oh yeah, they're not getting that at all. But yeah, I actually really like it. I can see kind of, you know, some of the complaints. It is a little bit rough around the edges, but you know, I really enjoy these sorts of games. I'll think I'll continue playing this. So yeah, if you like the Souls games, then this is kind of is that our friend?
I think he's gone. He's
Yeah,
He did his bit. Oh gosh,
yeah. This is a good idea.
that really looked like they would have done more damage than just 9. That
Yeah.
was that was an axe swung to the back of the head.
Yeah, that's like a critical hit instead of a tiny scratch. But yeah, I think this is very much a game I'd enjoy playing, and it plays remarkably close to the Souls games, and that's a good thing. It's I think me describing how similar it is to Souls, probably I don't know.
Coming from someone that really enjoys the Souls games is a compliment.
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. I don't want to, it's a very easy thing to say this game is like this, but this game really is like the Souls games. There's no, I think there's no beating around the bush there. But yeah, I quite enjoy it, and obviously, yeah, I'm not doing particularly well because I'm not paying attention. I'm playing and talking at the same time. But yeah, this is out today, October 28th, I believe the date is. So now, by the time you watch this, yeah, this is on PS4, Xbox One, PC. I quite like it. It's good. It's a rollicking good time.
Rollicking.
Rollicking. That's a word that
Good word.
no one uses enough anymore, and it's probably a good reason for that.
The world's moved on.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We usually stream on Wednesdays at sort of lunchtime. I think everyone was kind of busy this week, so we wanted to kind of get our stream out of the way a bit early. But yeah, be sure to subscribe on Twitch, and then you'll know when we're not streaming on time. I think that's a good indicator. With Digital Spy UK, follow us there. And we'll be back next week. Tom, thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure.
And we'll see everyone very soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.